Right, we're now in chapter 28, which says, Tasin Mim Tilka Ayatul Kitab al Mubin. Tasin Mim, these are the signs of the book, the clear book. Now, almost this entire chapter is devoted to the story of Musa, and it begins with verse 3 itself. So very early on, it says, Natlu alayka min naba'i Musa wa Fir'aun bil haqq liqawmi yu'minun. Verily, we rehearse, we rehearse or we reflect some of the stories of Musa and Fir'aun in truth for the people who are continuously believing. The story of Musa is the most featured in the Quran, and I believe the reason for this is because the Quran commands us to express our spirituality by social action, and Musa's social action is the most comprehensive in the Quran itself. This does not mean that Musa is above everyone. What it means is that the story of Musa is most featured and thus most relatable to us. So from verse 3 to verse 47, from verse 3 to verse 46, it is about the story of Musa, and it includes about Musa's mother having a dilemma about releasing her child. Musa himself, he inadvertently killed a person. He left the city and he found himself a job and started a family as such. So this shows the human aspect of Musa. And this again shows that the messengers were human beings, just like us. So from verses 46 onwards, it goes back to the reader. It says, وَمَا كُنْتَ بِجَنِيبٍ طُورٍ. So you were not on the side of At-Tur. You see, so basically it's trying to show us that we are, although we were not party to that story, we have a relationship with it. For example, in verse 49 it says, "Kul fa'atu bi kitabin min indillah wa ahda minhuma wa attabi'uhu in kuntum sadiqin." Then bring a book or an ordainment from God which is better than either of them. So the story of Musa or the Quran, that I may follow it if you are truthful. So even though the book of Musa is different, the Quran is on equal par because it says better than either of them. Yeah. Then it goes on to the mentality of those who receive the book. For example, وَإِذْ يُتْلَى عَلَيْهِمْ, this is verse 53, it says, وَإِذَا يُتْلَى عَلَيْهِمْ, and when it is recited on them or reflected on them, they say, we believe therein it is the truth from our Lord, indeed we have been Muslimin from before this. So there are people who are already agents of peace and soundness, or Muslimin, and when they receive the book, it's only confirming what they already knew. And then it tells us that the reader cannot guide even those whom he loves. So that's verse 56. So the ones who give guidance, the one who gives guidance is Allah. Then we come to the end of the chapter, which is verse 85 to 88, and it brings us back to the Quran. So perhaps the bracket, if there was a bracket, there is a bracket. The bracket starts from verse 27, which begins with the Quran, and the bracket closes with chapter 28, the end of chapter 28, which talks about the Quran as well. Here it says, إِنَّ الَّذِي فَرَضَ عَلَيْكَ الْقُرْآنِ. Verily, the one who has obliged upon you the Quran. So we're talking about the reading which is applicable to the situation. It's not talking about the entire Quran now. La rudduka ila ma'ad, will bring you back to the place of return. Say, my Lord knows best who is it that brings true guidance and who is it in Dalalul Mubin, clear misguidance. So and you will not rely upon the fact that the book was sent to you except as a mercy from your Lord. So the book, Al-Kitab, which is talking about the Quran again, the Quran al-Mubin mentioned in verse 27, Kitab al-Mubin, sorry, it's a mercy. It brings us that growth which we seek. So the end of the chapter 28, it says, وَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا, do not ilahan akhra, do not call besides Allah another authority. لا إله إلا هو, there is no God but He. كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه, everything will perish except His expression. So له الحكم, and to Him belongs the governance or command. وإليه ترجعون, and all of us are tending to Him, and we are tending to Him essentially. So here we have the Quran being related back as a metaphysical device for ourselves. If we read the Quran in this way, we will extract the best from it. So this brings us back to Al-Qasas. Indeed, I have not expounded much on the details of the story of Musa. Perhaps in the future we can prepare a story of a surah by surah, or chapter by chapter account of the story of Musa. I think that would be quite helpful as well for all of us. Thank you very much for your continued viewership. We have a big day tomorrow, inshallah, 4 chapters, chapter 29, 30, 31 and 32. So stay tuned for that, folks. Day 17. Thank you very much for your viewership. Bye.